Good morning, everyone. Man, it's great to be back in the office after an extended holiday and lockdown due to COVID. I hope everyone's having a great day. Hey, if you're watching live on the live stream, please say hello. Today, I want to talk about 2021 and the opportunities for digital retailing or modern retailing improvements. Man, there's been a number of announcements recently from large groups like Asbury, OEMs like Nissan, are all talking about their investments in technology and digital retailing or modern retailing, or as Wayne Pastore from dealer.com is like, hey, it's just how we do retail in 2020, whatever you call it. Some people hate the idea of the phrase digital retailing. It's like, Brian, we've been digital retailing for years. Okay, got it. But I want to talk about specifically some opportunities for dealers and vendors to help our industry go to the next level in improving the efficiency and the profitability of automotive retailing. And there's no shortage of stories out there about the different challenges that dealers face this year and maybe some challenges that they face in 2021. So if you would like to invest in your team, whether you work at a dealership or you work in the vendor community, why don't you spend a few minutes with me this morning and let me share some ideas how my company plans to help our industry move forward. Sean says, hey, how are you? So, Sean, give us a little shout out. Where are you working right now? Make sure if anybody has questions on digital retailing, you just start asking them. So let's talk about what happened in 2021 briefly. Everyone pivoted one way or the other due to extreme lockdowns, partial lockdowns, in some areas, no lockdowns at ever. But what I want to confront is a persistent belief that consumers don't want to change the way they buy cars. I was talking to a dealer group, and there's a number of managers and who have been in this dealer group a long time and say, Brian, there is zero interest that we can measure that consumers want to buy a car online or do most of the deal online. Zero. They're just like, it's not there. And what I want to do is just challenge our industry to understand that maybe 20 years ago when Auto by Tel came out, I remember Sean Wolfington showing me an amazing video. It's still probably online, and it was just an amazing animation. It's like, dealers, you got to get your dealership on the digital highway, and I was like, wow, the internet wasn't even called the internet. It was like, you need to get your business on the digital highway. And this idea was like, hey, consumers are going to buy cars online. What wasn't true at that time, which is different now, is that other areas of retail were not automating. They weren't pushing consumers to buy online, the Walmarts, restaurants, and other things. Tamilia, how are you? Tamilia, I love the fact that you're so engaged, always a student of this industry, and working with the team over at A to Z Sync as well. So back in 1999, 1995, when this idea of dealers having to move their business online, remember some dealers thought websites were a fad. But the truth of the matter is everything around them didn't change, and automotive is rarely the leader in any change in a retail experience. Today, what has happened is the restaurants that were nimble and that had driving capabilities reinvented themselves. The businesses that had shopping cart systems or online reservations or mobile apps were able to reinvent themselves. The businesses that didn't, struggled. And obviously, aside from the businesses that were completely crushed by COVID, the key here is there was an acceleration moment in which businesses realized that when retail can't be done in a normal or historical way, does the business have the ability to shift and pivot? And that's what I want to talk about dealers today. Whether you believe consumers want to do more of the shopping process online or not has a lot to do with your website and how you treat them. Good morning, Anthony. I showed some examples last week, if you missed the lunch and learn, just how difficult dealers make getting any basic information, on their website to a consumer. And so if you think about it, when dealers say, well, digital retailing doesn't work, or, no one's asking to do this transaction online, they can be so frustrated with your website. It already tells them that there's no easy way to do business with you. Since Tamila's on the call, I've shared this story 100 times. When I went into Champ Honda in Colorado and saw their A to Z sync platform, it's one price, one person, 1 hour, I was like, wow, this is an amazing way to do business. And what I want to challenge our industry is that maybe the reason why that there's no significant or measurable or high percentage of transactions going online is because we really don't want that to happen. Even though the data shows me that PVR can stay or grow in a more efficient model. What I do know is dealers want to make more money. And what I do know is labor costs are a huge factor in that. And what I do know, there's a lot of inefficiencies in the sales process, meaning time sucks. And during COVID, we saw a glimpse of super efficient models where people who were selling 12 or 15 cars were selling 20 and 30 cars because a lot of the time sucks were removed and the barriers for communication were taken down. And what I want to challenge are you committed or not to being able to fully pivot if you need to? And what do I mean by that? People say, oh, I have Roadster on my website, or I have Gubagoo, I have CarNow, I have Cox Digital Retailing. And it's just another button of 7 or 8 other buttons on their website. They still have a pop-up, Citibank form. They still have a trade tool pop up, even though their trade tool their DR tool and their trade tool and their finance are all competing with each other for clicks. So what I thought is that we as an industry, as the vaccine's rolling out, and I would say by June, commerce as we know it will start to look more normal. How can we take our industry to the next level? And what I'm hoping to do is open dealers' eyes through education that most dealers are marginally committed to making a better retail experience for consumer. Marginally committed. Now, there's some extreme examples where people have gone completely formless, or even extreme examples like a Kia store in New Jersey where they only have one CTA button on each VDP, just one. This is the way we do business. And it takes them through their process. What we need to do is really help dealers have a lens that they don't have today on what they're doing to impede their ability to be flexible, what they're doing to impede the consumer experience, what they're doing to actually hurt the value of their business. Now, so what do I have in mind? A couple things. In January, I'm doing a 3-part series. It's a free series. The dates, let me just look on January 13th, the 20th, and the 27th. I'm going to be doing a 3-part webinar series. And the webinar series will require your attendance. I'm not pushing out the videos for people who can't make the time. It's either you're in or you're not in. And people say, well, why do you do that? Is because the truth of the matter is, if I'm going to invest my time for free, I want people to engage and ask questions. And the fact that people get lazy about education or not leaning in, I'm not going to reward it in 2021. So I'm doing a free series January 13th, the 20th, 27th. And what I'd like to do is start a conversation on training dealers' eyes on how to look at their website, how to simplify and improve the throughput of their websites, how to make sure they're measuring what they're putting on their websites, and helping them take the next step to embrace a more modern retail experience. But then I started to think about it is that there's so many new developments. If you looked at a digital retailing platform a year ago compared to today, what a big difference. Cox has made a big improvement in their digital retailing. You just saw Gabagoo had a huge announcement with the Asbury Automotive Group, I think it was, yeah? Or maybe it was someone else, I forget, on their technology going to be a core piece of running the digital retailing operations for, very large dealer group. So what I thought was, okay, let me start by doing a 3-part series on digital retailing. And you can just register for free. So if you would like an invitation to that, you just send me an email, brian@brianpash.com, say, hey, send me the link. But then I decided I'd like to do a 1-day symposium on digital retailing and invite the very brightest technology companies, the most progressive dealers, and have a 1-day kind of update on where digital retailing is and whether you call it modern retailing or automotive retailing, get some OEM perspectives. Toyota was an early investor in their SmartPath technology. I'd like to get an update where they are. Obviously, you may have seen that Nissan finally has come out with some more customer-facing information about their new way to purchase a car. Glenn and I worked with Nissan for almost 2 years on that. So we're going to do in March a 1-day online symposium just focused on digital retailing. And then there's going to be a bonus. In addition to the online symposium with the best technology companies and the most progressive dealers with success stories, I'm going to attach to that symposium a full masterclass in digital retailing. And my brother Glenn and I will be teaching the class. It will probably be 8 or 10 video modules, anywhere from 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And if you register for the symposium, there'll be some fee to do that. You'll also get access to this new masterclass updated on digital retailing. I see Thomas Gage joined us and says, an important question is who in the dealership owns the budget for DR? Ooh, interesting. I suspect there is a different commitment if it is the new used manager or the general manager versus marketing. Great question, Thomas. We'll address that today. Ali said, hi, Brian, it would be a generic digital railing steps, or would it be specific tool? We've had 2 different tools, and it seems like each tool has a different process. Great. So the 3-part free series will be applicable for any tool, because what I'm finding is that the digital retailing companies are selling technology and a process, and dealers are throwing these tools on their website without any careful planning. Do they have conflicts with existing tools on their website? Are they sending conflicting messages? Are they going to be price transparent, or are they going to require an unlock? There's a lot of things going on. And then are they measuring if this tool is frustrating consumers, right? These are some basic things that apply, Ali, to every website platform. And then how do we respond to consumers who are engaging on our website, or how do we respond to third-party leads? I think one of the bright developments in 2020 was Alex Snyder and the team at Frickin' Tech really showed that when a lead comes in from a third party like a Cars.com or Auto Trader or Car Gurus, sending them a transparent, powerful first quality response, which allows them to pencil their own deal, really was a game changer for their clients, really increasing engagement rate 30+%. Why do I bring this up? A lot of people have digital retailing tools on their websites, but their lead response templates and how the BDC is trained, the BDC isn't using these tools to create a first quality response, to get people engaged with their sales process. So Allie, what I want to be able to do in the free 3-part series is to really challenge the industry to ask, are you really committed to being competitive? Are you really committed to being able to pivot in any economic or competitive challenge? I don't know about you, but if you are a single point store or part of a small group, there's been massive roll-up going on. Lithia has been on a buying spree. Asbury's been on a buying spree. But you also see that these companies are now investing heavy in data-driven marketing. They're naming their retail experience. They're having consistent marketing. And they're basically taking a playbook from, Carvana, basically saying it's faster, easier, and mostly online to buy your next car. Everybody who's watching this video knows that we appreciate convenience and saving time. Everyone. And so I want to open up the conversation to start to educate dealers and just share my observations that as an industry, we haven't even started to embrace truly a modern retail experience that could be paralleled in other industries. And then in March, we're going to do the one-day symposium. And this will be some keynotes and panel discussions, workshops, just like a one-day conference. And then if dealers who register, they're going to get a bonus of this really masterclass in digital retailing. And Allie, what we'll do is we will have specific workshop and content for Roadster or Cornell or Gubagoo or A to Z Sync. We will, to the degree that the companies participate, provide some recommendations on how to implement the platform that you choose. We don't sell digital retailing software. We get called in by dealers and dealer groups to help optimize the experience, to create the marketing campaigns for it, to get more people bought in, to update the CRM processes. That's what we do. But listen, I tell dealers there are so many different ways in which digital retailing is implemented. Do you want to start with in-store first and then go online? Do you want to go online and then in-store? You want to try to do it all at once? Pick the tool that you love and then learn how to optimize. Tamila says, DR is more than just a plugin. Amen to that. Dealers need to also understand the internal process shifts to truly deliver an exceptional experience for both their customers and employees. Ooh, Tamila, I really like that comment. Yeah, I'm going to put that right there. That's a great statement. And Tamila, the A to Z Sync team that evolved out of the investments at the Champ Automotive Group. Chip Perry is now the CEO. And they are amazing in their training and process. And well, it allowed them to really be super competitive in automotive retail in the markets where they compete. What a great brand promise, right? One person, 1 hour. One person, one price, 1 hour. So 3 one-day workshops, webinars in January. Okay. And again, those are the 13th, 20th, and 27th. And if you want to be invited to those, just send me an email, brian@brianpash.com. Now, the details for the March one-day digital retailing online event will be coming out soon. I'm going to be reaching out to the DR companies. Obviously, there's a limited number of speaking slots and things that we could do in a one-day event. So I'm going to be reaching out to folks to help sponsor this one-day symposium. And then the bonus is every dealer who registers for the one-day digital retailing symposium will get the full masterclass. And they'll be able to look at that for months and really get their team laser focused on the mindset, as Tamila says, the thinking, the strategies and processes that you need to really be more competitive and flexible. And why do we need to do it? Hey, for many dealers, 2020 ended up being a record year, a very profitable year. But I think we're already starting to see normal supply-demand balancing happening, meaning I think dealers are getting a good shot of inventory in January and February. Competitive forces are in play. With the vaccine, I think we've hit kind of a max number of departures from metro into suburbs. I think the suburban housing market, even though it's still very strong, will normalize in Q1 of next year. And then we're going to be back to a competitive environment. And with the large dealer groups buying on a buying spree because their public stock is up 100% or more since the pandemic, they have tremendous cash or cash equivalent, their stock, to go out and buy dealerships. And this is why I think in 2021, we're going to start to see the first massive national branding campaigns outside of what a Carvana did or a CarMax with the Lithias and the AutoNations and the Penske's and the Asburys and the Morgan Auto Group, who's been on a roll as well. We're going to start to see public awareness on a new buying cycle. We're going to see more creativity from the OEMs. You saw the Bronco rollout, the Corvette rollout. I mean, there's the Hummer rollout. I mean, we're talking about whole model year sellouts, direct driven by OEM and online buying experience. There's a lot of things that are shifting. And so I want to encourage everyone who really wants to refine their game. And here's what I'm going to say. I have a certain perspective based on working with hundreds of different dealers in different cities on how to improve the online and in-store experience. I'm just one voice. Glenn has been working with dealers on their branding, their CRM process. He's another voice. Together, we're going to put together this master class and hook it to this one-day digital retailing or modern retailing symposium online event in March. In the meantime, I want to invest in your dealership for free January, and we're going to do these 3 webinars. Another thing I'm working on right now is a new research report, and some of you who know these challenges is how do you measure if digital retailing is working? So I'm reaching out to all the DR companies and asking them to send me their latest spec sheet on the events that they throw into Google Analytics so that dealers can create conversion goals. It's very common that dealers have, let's just say, a KBB form on their website. They have a Capital One form on their website. They have, some other Auto Lead Star form on their website. And none of these forms are triggering goals in analytics. And then they add a DR tool, and that DR tool has its own trade form and has its own finance application. It has its own unlock. And believe it or not, a lot of dealers don't have goals set up for these conversions as well. And why is this important? Well, right now, dealers are spending tens of thousands of dollars a month on marketing. And if you don't have conversion goals set up, you can't optimize, for example, your Google Ads campaigns. You can't optimize your Facebook ad campaigns. And it's embarrassing, but I've audited some large dealer groups, and everyone points fingers at each other. Well, the agency should have known that. And the agency says, well, I didn't know you put this tool on your website. And the tool people say, well, listen, we sent the spec sheet to your marketing manager and hey, we don't have permission to go into your analytics. I don't know. It's just like this, pointing fingers back and forth. So I'm working on a new research report. I hope to have that out by the end of January. So if you are a company that has a digital retailing tool, I have an updated sheet from Roadster because I've been doing a lot of work with some clients that have asked me to make sure all those goals are set up. But Gubagoo and CarNow and Cox and Dealer Socket and Buy Now and WebBuy, and I can keep on going, Carvoy and Modal and AutoFi. I mean, there's a lot of people in this space right now. Would love for you to send me your latest PDF or Word doc on the events that you throw in the GA, what these events mean, so I can create a unified document that would show dealers, regardless of what DR tool they have, how to make sure Google Analytics is set up properly. Does that make sense? Does it make sense that if we're going to put tools on our website that capture consumer information, shouldn't we be recording those conversion events so our marketing campaigns and our marketing automation can get better? And this is a systemic problem. I would say before DR, we almost solved this problem, that most dealers took the time to make sure that their website was, having goals and chat and text. Now, in the last 2 years, there's so many new players, so many new tools, and it's almost like we went backward 20 years, that at least half of the conversions on a dealer's website, in many cases, I've even seen 80% of all the conversions are not being tracked. And I don't get that. So Tamila, if you could, depending on where the A to Z Sync team is for a website implementation of their software, if that's available, I'd love to get the Google Analytics spec sheet. Now, there are some tools that don't sit on the dealer's website. They're just in-store processes. That's fine. I'm just talking about the tools that are sitting out in the ecosphere or online outside of the dealership, whether it's direct communication or not. How are those companies seeing what consumers are doing, and how are they sending conversion events into GA, if that's possible? That's what I'm looking for. So we have three updates just to help our industry with digital retailing. The 3 webinars that are going to be in January, again, 13th, 20th, 27th. Those are all Wednesdays. They'll all be in the afternoon. And if you send Brian at brianpash.com, I'll send you the link. We're going to do the one-day digital retailing live stream event in March. And if you are a company that sells those tools, or if you're a dealer who's had an outstanding experience really rethinking how you do retail, I'd love to talk to both of those groups. And then the research report, if you're a vendor who provides these tools, would you please send me your updated Google Analytics event dictionary so I can create a master document for our industry all to get better with. So before we wrap up for today, I know some people are still recovering from the holidays. What are some of the challenges that you see for digital retailing? Thomas brought up a good one: who controls the budget? And a lot of that is related to leadership decisions. Tamila mentioned that it's not just set it and forget it, bolted on to your website, although most dealers operate in this form, that it's really a commitment to changing process and thinking and vision. George asked a great question. I was wondering if someone would bring this up. George says, has anybody been using GA4? And George, just let you know, maybe I'm a little cynical on this, but I've been watching some of the forums, and it looks like some of the events that were set up to fire into GA don't automatically fire in GA4. I don't know if you've had any experience with that. My concern with GA4 is that we don't even have dealers using the existing GA property. We don't even have vendors using the existing GA properly, let alone trying to get website companies and software developers to look into a new API and a new toolkit. Now, is that the future? Most likely. But right now, I think that most dealers are in experimental phase. Obviously, the larger dealer groups I work with are already starting to tinker. I'm starting to tinker with it as well. Our team at PCG Digital is tinkering. But what's the reason? What's the pressing reason for dealers to move to GA4 right now? I'm not sure if I've come up with a position statement on that yet. What I am concerned about is that every dealer, at least in the OEM retail franchise market, has Google Analytics installed, and with very little effort, they could make sure that they're tracking engagement and tracking conversions. And this isn't even been done. So I'm somewhat concerned that this becomes another, distraction. And I don't want to be asking vendors to start supporting GA4 at a time where I can't even get them to install their software and check that events are firing in GA. So unless, like I said, there's a compelling reason that the implementation of events or the implementation of software on a dealer's website is more streamlined in tracking conversion and engagement, that I have not been able to wrap my head around, quite yet. But anticipate that will be a conversation that we'll handle in November at the Automotive Analytics and Attribution Summit in Palm Beach. So a couple other quick updates, because I don't see any more questions coming in right yet on digital retailing. The Digital Marketing Strategies Conference, which we hold in the spring every year in Napa Valley, we decided to push it to July. We thought April, end of April, but here's our thought. It looks like from some of the larger companies, whether it's Syncro or Cox or Comcast or Spectrum Reach or other, larger companies, they still have corporate travel restrictions set for Q1, Q2 of next year, limited corporate travel restrictions. I think that by March or April, we should have a pretty good sampling of the US population vaccinated. But most of the experts are saying by June, things like travel, vacations, and other things are going to be happening. So we've decided to do DMSC July in Napa Valley, the weekend after 4th of July weekend, and that will be a live event and live stream. And then our November event will be in Palm Beach as anticipated. So we're going to do our two conferences in 2021. And of course, we'll be talking at those conferences as well about modern retailing, but a lot of other things, including some of the breakthroughs in marketing automation. And also, we'll be talking about marketing measurement and just measuring our sales process. GA4, will definitely have to be a part of that conversation. Well, 2021 is just days away. And I just want to let you know that I'm laser focused on helping dealers and the vendor community reinvent more flexibility into automotive retailing, sales, marketing, in-store process. And it's going to start through education. The platform providers have made massive updates. When I look at, say, the Cox Accelerator, now called Cox Digital Retailing, what it first looked like versus today, amazing. When I looked at Car Now, what it first looked at, what it looks like now. When we look at some of the newcomers, even Web Buy and the momentum that product has seen. I mean, there's a lot of cool things. So we need to get updated by all the players. We're going to do a one-day virtual symposium on modern retailing, and that will be in March. So let me know if you're a dealer with some really cool stories, or if you're a vendor. There'll be limited sponsorship slots just because it's going to be a one-day event. And if your dealership is really embracing digital retailing or wants to for 2021 and needs help, please reach out to me, just Brian@brianpash.com. We have a great 90-day coaching program to help dealers simplify their websites, improve their marketing message, implement measurable marketing campaigns to help promote, and then also fix your CRM sales processes. And Glenn heads up that initiative. You could also email Glenn at glenn@pcgcompanies.com. Either one, Brian@brianpash.com or Glenn. And we'll love to help you in Q1 really set the stage for some awesome stuff. James Kurtenbach, how are you? James was so gracious to host me over at Champ Honda and show me their strategy for retail. I'm sure it has been updated a number of times. And also keep in mind that I updated my last two books, right? So the book, Hyperlocal Marketing for Automotive Retail, I've just updated it last week with all the latest changes in Google My Business. So if you order Hyperlocal Marketing for Automotive Retail, you'll get the latest version of the book. And then I also updated the Modern Retailing Playbook. And this is really an updated workbook on helping dealers implement a modern retail strategy, including website optimization, marketing, messaging, communication, CRM, workflows. It's all in one book. A lot of cool things. I just wanted to let you know I'm excited for 2021. 2021 was a scary year. It turned out to be a great year for us. And that's only by God's grace that happened, because if you would have asked me in April when dealers were calling up and pausing all their marketing and all my travel and consulting was put on hold, the fact that we had 2 conferences scheduled and commitments in the hundreds of thousands of dollars with the hotels, to be able to finish the year and say, God was gracious to help us reinvent. And that's why I wanted to have a little message today. I want to help you reinvent your dealership for 2021 to stay progressive. The larger dealer groups, they have whole teams doing nothing but reinventing their retail processes. But for the single point stores or the smaller groups, you're going to really need a team to help you accelerate through this very, very interesting year ahead. I can't wait to see what the end of 2021 looks like compared to this year. So it's going to be a lot of education. It's going to be a lot of investments in you. And Glenn and I and the whole team at PCG Digital are committed to helping dealers. So if you're looking for a digital agency that really leans in and gets involved and helps educate and transform dealerships, reach out. We have a few opportunities to take on new clients, not many, because we like to keep relatively small and invested in our clients, but our educational efforts are for the entire industry. And we want to invite you again to these 3 unique opportunities for modern retail, which is the 3 webinars in January, the research report, which will be out, and that's for free at the end of January. And then in March, I'll have some details coming up on the one-day symposium. So without further ado, I wish everyone a wonderful, let's just see, time for fixed ops to go digital in 2021. Carson, hey, you know what? It's funny. I don't want to have too many side conversations, but I will tell you that we had a number of fixed ops live events planned for 2020, and they were all canceled. So it was going to be a couple different cities. We are laser focused on fixed ops internally at PCG Digital. And listen, a lot of dealers have leaned in with contactless payments and with the video cams and approvals and even financing of repair orders, all done online, all done touchless. And believe me that in 2021, again, God willing, we're going to go on the road and talk about modernizing fixed ops. And just one side note, if you're a Chrysler dealer, Ford dealer, or a Chevy dealer, do me a favor, go look on your website and go find one page on your website that talks about your diesel engine repair services. Isn't it funny that we are approaching 2021 and barely any content on our websites, other than maybe brakes and tires and batteries and oil change. And here we have massive opportunities in diesel engine repair and diesel mechanical services. And man, just missing. But for our clients, obviously, we're doing a lot of cool stuff to help them increase their local search visibility, including optimizing Google My Business. So Carson, thanks for bringing that out. I am discouraged, though, that most dealers think that building their own GMB for service is too much effort. Asking consumers for service, for reviews, for their service listing is too much effort. I don't know what's broken in their brains, but the dealers that I've worked with that have transformed formed their thinking on Google My Business for service have really seen a tremendous increase in local search visibility. That paired with Google local ads, which most dealers are not running, changes the digital strategy for fixed ops for sure in 2021. So Sean, thank you for that comment, word of affirmation. So again, if you would like really a different outcome or an improved outcome for 2021, check out all our educational opportunities for the year ahead. Again, my email, I'll just put it in the comments section so everyone will see it in the post. Let's go over here, the post. Brian. There we go. Boom. Okay, there we go. So want to reach out to me on any of these topics, please do. Want to wish everyone a healthy and happy new year. Carrie and I both had COVID, got through it. Carrie's dad recently had it. He's hardly even, touched him. But then we had some very, very sad stories. John Purdy lost his mom, and a number of our friends have lost loved ones. This is a serious, serious disease or virus. So get vaccinated and take care to wear masks. And let's have a healthier and happy new year. And pray for the people who are hurting right this year because of the people they've lost. And if you do have the opportunity to thank a first responder in your local community, why not do something intentional to thank them, because man, they've been working crazy long hours, and they finally, this week just got all their vaccinations. So I'm really happy that the people on the front lines are going to be protected going further to the degree that the vaccines help. So that's all. A couple days to 2021. Can't wait for the year ahead and have opportunity to work with you. Have a great finish to 2020, and let's look forward to a happy and healthy new year. Thank you. Thank you, Benoit, from Canada. Thank you, Benoit.